Stephen Bedard here, and I want to ask the question, was Dionysus born of a virgin? Well, if you've read anything by Jesus mythicists, those people who believe that Jesus was not a historical figure but was based upon pagan myths, you'll know that Dionysus is one of the figures that really is emphasized as a inspiration or a source for the figure of Jesus that we find in the Gospels. And you can understand that in terms of Dionysus's his emphasis on wine as the god of wine, and of course Jesus in communion leads with a cup of wine, until of course you remember we're talking about the Mediterranean area where wine was a part of everything. So really that wine connection is not as strong as people might like to make it. But anyways, that's where it's at. And so they'll make a lot of different comments about the supposed similarities between the Greek god Dionysus and that of Jesus. And one of the things that you'll find is the claim that Dionysus was born of a virgin. So, was he? Well, there are actually a couple of origin stories of Dionysus that they're kind of similar with just a little bit of difference, a different mother and some different circumstances, but you'll see the connection between them. And so as I go through that, I want you to be asking, does this sound like a virgin birth in the sense that Jesus was born of a virgin? So that his mother became pregnant without any male involved, and then gave birth 9 months later. Is there anything like that in the story of Dionysus? So one of the versions of Dionysus's birth has him conceived through sexual intercourse between Zeus and the Greek god Zeus and a mortal woman named Semele. And so, first of all, the fact that Dionysus is conceived through sexual intercourse causes me to wonder if maybe this might not be a virgin birth. But anyways, we'll continue on with the story. So Semele becomes pregnant with Zeus's child, who is Dionysus. Now the problem is that Zeus was already married to Hera. And Hera really didn't appreciate Zeus going around sleeping with mortals and goddesses and so on. And so Hera tricked Semele to demand to see Zeus in all of his glory. And so Zeus did do that, and unfortunately Semele exploded. The power of his glory was just too much for a mortal to see, and so she basically blew up. Now, Zeus was able to save the fetus, so his child, Dionysus, but he really wasn't ready to be born yet. He had still been in his mother's womb. And so Zeus sewed Dionysus to his own thigh and carried him to term, and then eventually gave birth to him. So that's one version of it. The other version of it has... this time, Zeus has sexual intercourse with the Greek goddess Persephone, who was the goddess of the underworld, and she became pregnant with Dionysus and gave birth to Dionysus, which sounds fine. However, Hera is still not all that happy with Zeus sleeping around. Even if it is with a goddess this time. And so she tricks the Titans into ripping apart and eating Dionysus, which, again, Zeus is not happy about that. That's his child. And so he destroys the Titans with his thunderbolts, and he is able to retrieve the parts of Dionysus, put it all together, and sews him to his thigh so that he can be reborn, and he's born a second time. And so sometimes he's called Dionysus, the twice born, because he's born from Persephone and then he is born from Zeus. So those are the two basic stories of Dionysus. Where is the virgin birth? Both times he is conceived through sexual intercourse. I realize that they're trying to say, well, on the second birth there, he's taken and he's put onto Zeus's thigh and is born from just one parent, but he already was alive and had already been conceived. So it is really very much different from anything we see in Matthew and Luke in the descriptions of the virginal conception of Jesus. So when people say that so-and-so God from whatever pagan culture was born of a virgin, I would encourage you to actually read the story and to see if there's any evidence of that. Because most often, Jesus mythicists are assuming that you are not going to read the myth, that you're just going to take their word for it. They're claiming Dionysus was born of a virgin, Jesus was born of a virgin. There you go, there's the connection, without any examination to see if these things are true. Thank you for watching this video. I encourage you to check out my website, JesusMythTheory.com, where I examine different aspects of the Jesus myth theory. Thank you again, and God bless.